All right. What's up, Blue Butterfly Gang Gang? The energies have been so intense. Okay. I'm uploading the readings from TikTok on the homepage. You guys would want to watch them. And we're going to do a reading here. So, also, I want to let you guys know that, remember, I'm doing the divine feminine masculine energies, and I was doing it on the psychic philosopher and then connecting it here. So we're going to actually switch that. I'm going to actually keep all the tarot readings here because I realized that there's no reason for me to actually separate it, because even if people are in karmic cycles, I still want them to be able to grow. That's the whole point. You get me? So I'm not going to separate it. I'm just going to add them to the readings that we've already been doing here when we do the twin flame readings, the counterpart readings, the collective readings, and then we're going to do DF readings, DM readings, so that it can give you guys more guidance. Hi, Candace. So that it could give you guys more guidance. That way it's like you'll have the love readings, but you'll also have the readings where it's focused on the personal growth of the journey, right? Like, so that you guys kind of have more. And then the personals are there where it's optional for you guys that need that extra guidance, where you just kind of really want to confirm what cycle you're in. But at least that way everybody understand how I see the journey, and if it resonates with you on that scale, you know how to navigate in it, right? But it's been some beautiful storylines that has been coming out. So I can't wait till they upload and you guys get to see them. You guys might see them in the morning, but I'll post them as soon as they pop up. But y'all just might see them in the morning. No biggie. And then the reading on TikTok, we did 4 hours. We spent 4 hours. If y'all have TikTok, y'all should subscribe to Coffee with She and Tarot there as well, because I do lives there, and then you guys get the readings, like I post them here. But I do lives there and I do lives here. And then those readings, they get uploaded. If you don't have a TikTok and you want access to those readings, I also have Patreon, and those readings get uploaded. I don't know, I've been talking like this all day. Uploaded, like I said, they get uploaded in the Patreon, along with other readings that I do for the Patreon. But anyways, with that being said, let's get into the reading. I want to start off with an oracle, a couple oracles. Just kind of see where the energy is at. Holy Spirit, angel guys, what do we have for Blue Butterfly? What's the energy surrounding this storyline? Hi, Alyssa. What's the energy surrounding the storyline? I just saw departure. So that's pretty much the cycles that's been ending and the new beginnings that are being had. So the energy has definitely shifted. Good job to you guys as a collective, shifting the energy. Hi, Christopher. You have the most energy at night. Sometimes I do too. I feel that. Happy New Year, Raj. Ooh, why are you scared? Why are you scared? Don't be scared. Don't be scared of anything. All right, we have innocence. You are exploring new emotions and creative ideas, uncovering hidden depths. Stay curious and let your imagination guide you to new possibilities and emotional growth. So this is that kid-like nature energy, right? Stay innocent. Don't lose your childlike energy where you're excited about possibilities. Have an open mind and be more optimistic on this journey, even when it gets difficult. Sometimes it gets difficult, especially when the energy is heavy, but work on being optimistic. There's times where you're going to have to just like rest and your energy is going to get low, but other times it's like something you're going to have to, it's just like affirmations. When you tell yourself affirmations, you It's your way of feeding yourself good energy to stay in that certain vibration and helping you manifest. Even if you don't feel that way, it's like talking to yourself negatively is feeding into that. So then it's setting you back. But if you're talking to yourself positively, you're feeding that energy of positivity so that it can come in for you, because you're connected and aligning yourself to what you're asking for, because you're positive about it. You have a belief in it, but that belief turns into a knowing. It's like where people say you got to be delusional about what you're manifesting, right? So I feel like that's the energy you guys are going to be tapping into. Thank you, Space Boy. You've never been this comfortable. My right brow is crying black tears. I never heard that one before. Y'all funny. You guys are so funny. But anyways, we got inspiration. A new spark of creativity ignites within you. This is the moment to take action on your ideas and passions. The potential for growth is immense. Trust your instincts and begin. Your efforts now can lead to significant opportunities. So I feel like in the last cycle, you guys were fighting to get your spark back, your joy, your energy, because it was a tough time, right? The adversity, it was tiring because it was a lot that you were fighting through, so many different things coming at you at once. And then at the same time, it's like you're learning how to dodge it, how to handle it. Some things it wasn't that you could even dodge it. It's some things where it literally was teaching you how to deal with it. And when you don't know how to deal with something, okay, here we go. I am a woman. I don't identify as it. I am it. Hey, Patricia. It's been a minute. But it's like when you don't know how to do something, you don't know how to work through something, then Sandra, who is meth? Are you talking about meth the drug? Because if you talk about meth the drug, you about to get blocked. But anyways, I'm trying not to pay attention because y'all gonna distract me from the reading. Because I need to monitor the trolls, right? If the trolls aren't monitored, or if a lot of trolls come in here, then I'll cut the chat. Not because I don't want to talk to you guys, but just I don't want them to be distracting. So with the, where was I? With the inspiration, yeah, it's like you guys could have probably lost your spark or inspiration because of everything that you were facing, right? And what you were having to learn, because while the adversity was being thrown at you and you were having to work through it, you also was learning different things, how to move through those challenges, but also what needed to change and how to change it. So it could have taken a minute. It's not that you weren't growing or you weren't going to get out of that space. It just was taking time because it's not something you ever really experienced before. So it's like, let's say you've been in a cycle where it's been the same repetitive energy, pattern, behavior. Now you're trying to stop that. That's going to be a process because now you have to figure out what works for you and how to stop it, beat that addiction, that pattern, right? And it's going to require you pushing yourself. And then it can become really lonely because in that you're also learning how to love yourself. And then you're seeing with a more clear vision or new eyes, a new set of eyes where it forces you to be independent, because nobody can really take care of the things for you that you need to take care of for you, right? So passion wasn't a passion wasn't in the forefront. It was more in the back burner. It could have been more of you just being in survival mode of trying to get through, trying to make it to the next day, maybe even beating depression. So now in this cycle, that's the cycle you guys are closing out. you guys are getting that spark back. So even if you haven't gotten it yet, it's coming to you. You're going to come out of this adversity. You're going to start feeling joyful and inspired, and you're going to be put in places where you start getting new ideas, and you're going to get excited about the new path that you're going down, right? Some of you guys need to rest as well. We have rest. It is a time to pause and recharge. Let go of mental strain and allow yourself to recover. Stillness brings clarity and strength for the challenges ahead. Honor your need for rest and reflection. So maybe this is also something that's been challenging, is to rest, because it's been so much work to do. But even while you're doing this work and pursuing your dreams, your goals, also, even if you're excited, right? It's like, also make sure that you're taking care of your physical body, because you want to be balanced mind, body, spirit. So if your mental is jacked up because you're overly stressed, it might be because you're also not resting enough. Maybe you're not eating enough. So when you're not eating and putting that actual nutrition in your body, that's affecting your mentality. But also the thought process that you're experiencing because of what you're going through is also affecting the mentality. So sometimes your body kind of needs to shut down so that you can rest, right? Because it's going to feel like all I do is work, 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 or all I do is, there's always something I'm having to fight through. There's always some battle. And you don't want to have the mentality that, like, remember again, be optimistic. I'm always going to be in this energy or in this space where I'm fighting through something. Have the understanding that in this moment, yes, I'm fighting through something, but also shift your mind to the hopefulness of, even though I'm fighting through something, I'm going to look at this different. I'm going to look at it like a child, like it's an adventure. And once I pass this obstacle, I'm going to get here, and then I'm going to have this, and looking forward to your future, right? That you're manifesting. Because what it does lead to is celebration. We have celebration. A time of joy and accomplishment has arrived. Celebrate your achievements and share this moment with loved ones. This milestone marks stability and harmony. Honor the progress you've made and the connections that uplift you. Now, some of you guys are in that space where you are celebrating, because I read past, present, future, and as a collective, some of us are in those different spaces. Some of you guys, this is a past reading. Some of you guys, this is a present. Some of you guys, this is a future. But whichever you're at and where you're moving through, it's still leading to that time of celebration. And in every cycle, you have something to celebrate, because there's something that you've learned, something that you've mastered, right? So I feel like the energy is getting more exciting. Like, it's going to be an exciting time. I like it. Happiness, joy, vitality. Your energy is coming back. You're taking your energy back from the stress, right? From whatever's been holding you down. Tapping into Empress energy, whether you're masculine or feminine. You're nurturing yourself more. There's something that you've been growing, and it has sprouted. It has been yielding results, because whatever you've been investing in that's growing is going to sustain long term, right? This is not something small, itty bitty. It's like you're setting yourself up for the harvest, like a big harvest, and you have a plan for it. So that plan, you've been pursuing that plan, and then once you're able to reap the benefits of what you've worked for, you're going to reap it in doses, small doses, and then it's going to be bigger doses. And then it's going to be consistent, because you learned how to master that space, right? And for some of you guys, you're just waking up to this idea. So that's the shift, regardless of whether you're awakening to it now or you've already awakened to it in the past. The shift is happening where more inspiration is coming about, that's pushing you into the next chapter. So we got Two of Swords, right? You're trying to figure out, hi Anne. You're trying to figure out which direction to go in. But this direction is about your comfort zone. So it's pushing you past your comfort zone, and you're working in a space of head over heart, right? That's what's required right now. So if you've been trying to figure out something like, where should I go? It is a decision that you're going to have to make based off of your logic, and not just solely your heart, but you're going to have to also trust. So let's say like you've never moved out of wherever you live and you want to go somewhere else. You've been called for a while, but you're afraid because you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do when I get there. I don't know how I'm going to survive. I don't know how this is going to all work out, but I know that it's time for me to get out of this space, and it's time for me to start completely over. I need to leave everything behind because this energy where I am, it's weighing me down. My family, like them having access to me all the time and being close, they always need me to do something. Or my friends are they're karmic, and it's such a small town that if you separate yourself and someone ends up not liking you, now they have beef with you. They're going to spread rumors about you and da 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 da. You ruin your reputation. Whatever. I'm just making up scenarios, right? Now you have to make this decision that, like, I have to move away. Do you really want to move? No, because your whole life has been there, and it's scary because you don't know what's going to happen when you move. But there's still something in you that's like, but you still need to do it because it's a better choice for yourself to have this fresh new start where you could actually pursue the life that you want, because it's so much holding you back here, right? It doesn't have to mean that you're moving out of state, but it could be that you want to leave something behind and start something new, but you're more scared of it because you're not sure of how it's going to all unfold. But it's time to make that head over heart decision and believe and know that you can be successful, right? At that choice, that decision. But the thing is that it is going to be a lot of work. It's going to be hard. Anything you want to create for yourself is going to be hard. Like, and I'm talking about anything in life. You get me? It's, how do I explain? Like, because it's like you got to plant that seed, and then you got to take care of it and let it grow. But it requires a lot of patience because you don't know the timeline of that seed when it's going to be ready. You just have to allow it to do its thing. If I watch this plant every single day, trying to figure out when is the leaf going to get really big and huge, because this leaf has a process to it. This leaf is supposed to split as it grows big, like to like my hand, right? It's not at my hand level yet. When it goes big to that, it's going to start splitting on the corners, but that's a part of the leaf process. And then more leaves are going to grow just from this one leaf. But if I sit there and I watch that every day for hours, like, it's going to feel like it's never going to grow. But if I just make sure that it has what it needs, right? And I let it grow, it's going to grow. Where is it going to go? Nowhere. It's going to sit there and it's going to grow. This leaf had another leaf attached to it. It was an older leaf that is sprouted from that old leaf. And I didn't even know this leaf was there. I didn't know it had the root or anything, right? And it could be another one right there at the bottom here that's growing side by it. That's how this one grew on the old leaf. But one day I just randomly saw it and I was like, oh, I got two leaves now. So I cut off the old one and I threw that one away. because that one was like burnt up or something. And I just kept that new baby leaf, right? And now I'm just letting that one do its thing. But the reason why I brought that up is like, I didn't even know it was growing, but I knew that that leaf was there and I knew I need to keep it watered. And I change the water sometimes, but I don't change the water every day. Maybe like every 2 weeks. You get me? So when you're growing something, that's kind of how you have to do it. You got to have faith in it that it's going to grow, and you just got to do what you got to do. So even if you're in a period of adversary, oh, my words has been so jacked up. Even if you're in a period of adversary, it doesn't matter. You're going to get through it. Whatever you're trying to grow is still going to grow. That that challenging period is teaching you what you need to know, right? It's going to help you become successful, but you got to also believe and know that you can create and have the reality that you want. And you will be recognized for it. Sometimes that recognition just comes from spirit. Spirit letting you know you've done a good job. Now, something is manifesting. It's on the way. You don't see it, but it is. It's coming. That's why the celebration is coming up, because it's not meant for you to see it. But it is something that you did put out there into the universe a while ago. You said you wanted this, right? Now that opportunity is coming in. It could be love. It could be a person that have grown, because that's the energy that we keep getting out in the collective. It doesn't have to be, but it could be, because if you've been doing that shadow work, that inner work, that person meant to be with you has also been connected to you doing it. But you wasn't supposed to know who they were. It was hidden. It was a secret. Because it's like, the way that I explained on TikTok earlier is that twin flame is an energy, and so is counterpart. That's why we got multiple of each, because it's not specifically that person. It's the energy you're manifesting, but that energy travels through different bodies as you keep choosing yourself on your journey. So when new love is presented to you and you have that experience with that new person, it's different from the last experience, but they're very similar to that person, because they're embodying that energy that is following you. That is a representation of where you have grown. When you outgrow that energy with that person, you let go of that person, and now you have another experience with another counterpart energy at a higher frequency, because they're at the level that you are in the work that you've done. But again, it's the energy that's following you. So never be hooked on a person like, it's that person that I'm supposed to be with. Be hooked on the energy of who you're manifesting, what you're manifesting, that person, and then that whoever is attached to that energy, who's done the work in that energy, is going to be the one to match you in the end. But it could be someone that you already knew. They just was growing, but you might not have expected that person to grow, because you were trying to put that energy on somebody else that you wanted in the current moment, but it was never going to be them, because they were just there temporarily to assist you on your journey through that energy. So your counterpart is always with you. Who you're meant to be with is everything that is meant for you is always with you, but you don't see it because your perspective is always changing, and you have to look at it differently, like why you go through things, and understanding that there's a time that you're going to have it. You get me? Okay, we have the sun. We have the devil. Hermit. Oh my God. We keep having this energy come out, okay? So I guess now we're done talking about what you guys have been... Hold on. Y'all are obsessed with my eyebrows. It's crazy. Like, my eyebrows and my mole lately. But I don't even think it's coincidental, because my face keep being highlighted, my eyebrow and my mole, and people keep telling me everything that it says about having a mole on your eyebrow, about being a seer. I already know that. I don't know why spirit needs me to know that. Like, but I don't know. Maybe I need to look up something else about eyebrows, but it's been such a fascination there. But anyways, now the energy, this is what is shifting. So, like I said, there is a counterpart, right? For those of you guys that have been healing, those of you guys that's been doing the shadow work, y'all know who I'm talking to. You guys are meant for divine union. Divine union is not for everyone, and it's not easy. A lot of people think they're going to come into it because they want love and they're manifesting love. But you have to be willing to do the work, because divine union is a reward. Love, we already have that, right? So the universe don't have to give you somebody to love you. You're supposed to learn to love yourself. But for those who do get to that point where they love themselves and they've become so independent, right? Giving themselves everything that they desire, there's somebody that's always been connected to their energy who does the same, because that's the love that you was worth. You was worth someone treating you and loving you the way you love yourself. So if you haven't gotten that, it's because you've been still learning how to love yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. As knowledgeable as I am, I've still been learning how to love myself. And you guys have seen me grow and change and transform, those that's been here throughout the years with me, right? Because as a collective, we're all healing, we're all growing. There's some of you guys that are literally on my timeline shifting with me. As I process the information and I grow, my collective grows, because I'm going to give you guys the information. So we're all in the same boat, just in different timeline spaces, because some people are learning quicker, but a lot of people are waking up, right? And eventually we all get the same information. But there's somebody who is very, very happy thinking about you and this connection and the day that you guys can be together. Thank you, Joseph. And the day that you, okay, prayers for Sweden. What's happening in Sweden, Patrick? Um, they're they're happy thinking about the day that they can be in this union, but it's a lot of passion on this person's mind. This person wants to connect. This person is craving someone. They're craving they're craving deep intimacy. You're watching from Nigeria? Oh, so cool. I'm glad to have you. Someone's craving deep intimacy with you. Some of you guys could feel that energy being sent to you, but you might not really feel it, because again, I feel like so many of you guys, but the ironic thing is, like, while you are an adversary going through that space, like literally that's where your energy was, or might still be, and you guys are shifting through that as you're starting to try to rest, so is your counterpart. They've been going through adversary as well, right? But I feel like this person, you've been their hope. You've been their inspiration to keep pushing, to keep going. But it's been this hidden secret from you. They know that their goal is to pursue you, go towards you, but you are supposed to not be focused on them. You're supposed to be focused on where you're going. But they're focused on going towards you because that's what the contract is, right? The divine feminine leads and the masculine follows. But see, the divine feminine is very spiritually in tune. Doesn't matter if you're male or female. You could be the divine feminine as the male. But the divine feminine energy, she is spiritually in tune, right? She's the high priestess. So the masculine, he rules the physical plane. That's why he toils the earth. He works hard because he's creating a foundation that they can live and have on the physical plane, while the feminine is doing work in the spiritual plane. So as she is taking care of herself, being independent, and learning how to live in the physical realm, creating that stability for herself, that's her operating out of her own masculine energy. So while her masculine is doing that in the actual physical, and she's doing it, it's pulling them into union. So no matter what, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing for you, you're going to come into that union, right? You just got to follow what spirit is telling you, because it's your own energy being operated out. So the more you're stagnant and not doing what you're supposed to do, so is your counterpart. You're just delaying union by not doing what you're supposed to do. And because it just means that you're not learning the lessons, and neither are they. So it's literally a contract. There's a cord. But like I said, you don't always know who that person will be. It will be revealed when you get to that destination spirit needs you to get to, because you're pursuing purpose. As you're healing, you're awakening to your purpose and unlocking it. So is your counterpart, right? And then at the right time, union is able to come together. So there's your counterpart is always there. You're always there with each other. And I feel like this masculine, he's been inspired for a while this feminine was working to get his stuff together so he could pursue her, whatever he got going on in his reality. And now he's at a space where he's trying to rest, right? Like, just like she's coming into that space where she can slow down a bit, he's passionately thinking about her. Like the day that they can come into union, that this work will be done. He's been soul searching a lot. He's been getting very, very clear on his desires, his wish fulfillment, and he knows exactly what he wants and where he's going. But like I said, that's the contract. The masculine is creating something for them in the physical, but he's doing it because his purpose is in his divine feminine. And that can sound like what do you mean my purpose is another person? It's not that. It's what the masculine energy embodies, because even as a woman, if you're in a same-sex relationship and you're the masculine energy, then you're the one that have that physical knowledge. Like, it's just the way we came into this reality as feminine and masculine energy. We have both. So on our journey, we're learning how to balance out both within our own self. That's coming into union with you first, right? But as you're doing that work, it's also affecting the opposite energy in the physical that is meant to do that work with you, because there was always meant to be union where those two opposing forces work together as one. So the physical and the spiritual aspect of the feminine masculine energy working together as one. And that's why his purpose is in the feminine, because him tapping into his own spiritual self on his journey while creating the physical foundation for them, he's now connecting to God. When he connects to God, that's when he begins to connect to his divine feminine, right? Because now he's aligned with his heart and his path. Because masculines, when they're disconnected from their heart, it's pure logic. So you don't really understand what's on the inside. And the feminine is all about the inside. The masculine is all about the outside, the external. You understand? So, yeah, it's like now he knows where he belongs, where he needs to go, because he has been guided. And this masculine, it's like, how do I explain it? It's like when you've been awakened to your person, you're going to you automatically start embodying that part of the energy that is the counterpart to your energy, to your person, right? So the masculine, his masculine energy gets activated because now he wants to be the provider. He wants to give. He wants to do something outside of himself. And it's important for the feminine to learn how to be independent and provide for herself, because that's how she understands her own masculine energy and her masculine, and appreciate him and respect him for the work that he's created in the physical for them. Because that is his way of loving her, is by sacrificing that. You get me? So that she can have that comfort. So it's something where they both go on the journey, but they're learning the opposite, how to tap into the opposite energy, and in building in those opposite realities. So as he taps into his divine masculine energy, and he knows the blueprint of how to toil in the earth to create for his family. It's wired in him. That's why it's like you don't have to beg someone to like be there for you. It's a love language that a lot of masculines give. Hey, Chi. It's a lot like Chi. Chi likes to send me Cash App every now and again. Happy New Year. Chi doesn't know me, but he likes to give, right? It be in that masculine energy. And it's just to support me, like, because he cares. So it's like a lot of masculines, it's like they give when they want to show love. And it's not like, it's not a money thing. It's like, it's more so of it's a frequency thing, because money is also a frequency. The feminine love through how she pours out herself into you, right? Like when a child is wounded and she knows how to comfort them, soothe them. She can make a Band-Aid or something from scratch. She could get a cotton, she might not have Band-Aids, but she get a cotton ball and she get tape and she utilize that. She put that around the baby. She kiss his knee like the boo-boo, give him that big warm hug, make him something special to eat. That's her way of loving. It's out of giving of herself and using her resources. You get me? The masculine, he knows in this reality, like my nose keep itching. He knows in this reality that you, in order for you to be comfortable, you have to have money, right? Let me just take it off. You have to have money because money is the resource. So it's like a resource thing. Yeah, money is a social construct, but you're not going to change the social construct. Like, just because we know it's a social construct, it's not going to change. We still need money to survive. Like, we still need money to have a good life. It's nothing wrong with money and being a go-getter and going out there. A lot of people just are lazy and they don't want to do the work. So it's like they'll say money is evil. Money is the problem. Money is not the problem. And society is going to be, it's going to be what it is. We can't change it. All we can do is help other people wake up and make better choices for themselves, right? Um, and I feel like there's some spiritual people who have a thing with money where it's like a lot of them have this, they still have this low vibrational thinking with money, that money is the root of all evil. So they don't really go out there and go get money. They don't have that ambitious mindset to go out there and go get money, because it's that whole like, God is going to take care of me, spirit is going to take care of me, the universe will provide. That is true, but you got to go out there and work. They're going to give you opportunities so that you can have it. You don't have to stress about it. You might not make as much money as you would want to at once, because you still got to work for it, right? Like, but you can't just put everything all on God, because guess what? If you're made in the image of God, right? That means that you have the power to create your reality. And if you're living in a reality that needs money to survive, you're only going to have the life at the at the level you want to have it. So you're going to have a more mediocre life if you settle for less because you're waiting for something else to provide for you. But if you go out there and get it and you get more, you're going to have a better life because at the end of the day, money is how you're going to live your life. The quality of it's going to determine the quality of life you live in how much you make. You get me? And there's different ways to make money. You can make honest money. Like, you can make money off your gifts. You can make money off your talents. You can make money off of, I think people do things where it's like they have a community where they put their money together and at a certain time they distribute it out to one another. So it's just your perspective and how you choose to look at it. Yes, the universe provides, but the universe is also like, you're going to live the quality of life that you work for, and that's fair. I don't see how that's unfair, because that's justice. Like, that's balance. You got to balance out you. So, um, yeah, but that was the point that I was making. It's like, because we're living in this reality, and that is the social construct, he feels like that's his way of showing love. That's the best way I could show love, is by being able to beat the system and give my family the best quality of life, not out of vanity. Oh, I want you to be better than this person and that person, da da da. But because I know that in order for us to live a good life, we need to be set. We need to be financially stable, right? So he's doing this hard work to prepare for that future because he wants to be able to give. And he's also tapping into his own divine feminine energy, because that's the shift that he's also having to learn on his journey, is that, okay, go out there and pursue money, yes, but don't let money blind you and be so much of your focus, because it is a social structure that you define your own worth by money. So just get the things that you need. You need a home to live in. You don't need a mansion to live in. You get what I'm saying? Like, so don't put that pressure on yourself of, unless I have a mansion, I'm not good enough to be her king and da 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 da. It's like, no, you just need the basic essentials. Like, because at the end of the day, you have a helpmate, right? And feminine took the spirit took the feminine on her journey as well, to learn how to go out there and make a name and be independent for herself as well. So this masculine is not alone. And that's where, when they come into union, they're both going to be whole and balanced, because she has her own and he has his own. And he can provide for the family because that's what he wants and that's his way of showing love. But I think that that would also make him feel safe as well, to know that if anything ever happened and he couldn't provide, his feminine got his back. He's not alone. They're in it together, right? So he has to come to that spiritual knowledge and awareness that, okay, it's okay for me to go out here and make this money, but I don't have to, like, break my back, break everything to reach this, like, unrealistic level and expectation, because giving my heart and giving what I have and being stable is what matters. That's all that matters, not the amount of it. You get what I'm saying? Like, not the amount of it. But you could go as far as you want to, but don't let it affect, like, oh, let me keep holding back, holding back, holding back until I'm all the way up here. So he's coming to that understanding on his journey. And as the feminine is balancing out and he's balancing out, they're drawing closer and closer to each other, because their desires are aligning and they're both learning what is necessary and required. But this is literally, he is preparing for marriage. So he's thinking about this day. He's thinking like the reward will be so great, right? Because he's thinking marriage, long term. All right, so we know that he's on that side doing that. And what she's been having to work through, right? This inspiration, whatever she's growing, but learning the balance between rest and what she's working on and making these head over heart decisions in her masculine energy. We see him dreaming about the day that he could be with her too. So why are these two in separation? Have these two met? Oh, okay. So there's two things. I feel like Spirit is protecting this connection. That's what these two might not have understood. They felt like it was a block. Someone felt like it was a block. They both could have felt like this was done. This was over. This is blocked because there was so many obstacles in the way. And I think it was caught off guard. This connection ended unexpectedly. That's why it felt like a block. So let's say one person ghosted the other, right? And the person who got ghosted didn't understand why that person ghosted them. So they're sitting there trying to figure it out, but they're not hearing from them. And they know that they shouldn't try to change it. So then they'll sit there and try to figure out, why did this person ghost me? But eventually it's like now they have to heal themselves through that heartbreak because they're not understanding like what happened. Everything was so good and this just like fell apart, or they might have felt like it's not working out and they have to walk away from this person because this person isn't giving to them because they don't know how this person is processing. And then the masculine might be thinking, she doesn't know that I'm doing all of this for her because I didn't tell her, but I can't tell her this right now. So he stays away and the blockage remains there. So on both ends, they probably feel like it's over. But it's really Spirit that allowed that, right? And the way why I would say Spirit allowed it is because they might think that they did that in the situation, but it was supposed to happen like that because Spirit was using it to teach a lesson and helping both of them grow into their divine self. So in the feminine having to remove herself, it's teaching her self-love because something wasn't working in the dynamic that was holding her down. Maybe they were causing pain to what she was already going through, struggling. They're adding on top of that, those challenges. So in her learning how to love herself, in the past, that could have been a pattern that when she loved someone, she kept holding on, even if it weighed her down. And she's finally learned, I love this person, but they're holding me down and I have to walk away, even if I love them. That's like a test from Spirit, right? Oh yeah, I see them getting back together in this reading. And then for him, it's like he could have felt like he lost her because she walked away, and she has no idea how much he's doing to have this reality with her. But then in that, he's also learning, well, why wouldn't she walk away if she doesn't know how I feel about her? Because I didn't open up my heart. My heart chakra was blocked because I was so consumed with the money because of the social construct or the social structure of what was programmed in me, and wasn't aware that that's all I was focused on, and I was blocking out the very thing that I wanted. But that was always going to happen like that because that was the only way they would have seen it. You get me? So then now she opens up their heart chakra. that's how divine counterparts awaken each other. But we don't always see it like that on the surface. But as time goes on, you start to get epiphanies, and then you go back to certain things and you start to see signs and synchronicities around the connection that he was, that they might have just misunderstood each other because words weren't spoken, or intentions was good but timing was wrong, right? But the connection was never fully blocked. It was just temporary. It just looked like it was blocked. It was supposed to look like it was blocked so that these two could go on their separate journey and do their work. But at the same time, the connection had to end, because those energies that they were in wasn't the evolved energies that they're supposed to be in to be together for that power couple dynamic. You get it? Thank you, Coldest. Thank you, Coldest, for your support. I appreciate you. It's still good to listen to the readings just to help navigate you on your journey, because I read past, present, future, and as you do the work, like I said, you're always connected to your divine feminine or masculine, but you won't get to them until that very end of your journey when you both have done that work. So you never know when that situation is going to present itself to you. Hi, Creole. You feel like that happened? Okay. So what else? And this created conflict. Why was the conflict created? Why did there need to be, okay, good. What else? So remember, this is spirit in the middle of it. Spirit is like, I did this. They're on a contract, right? This was a part of helping them heal each other. This happened because look, it's two people here and it's the key. They were the key to unlocking each other. So they were working together, and they weren't supposed to know it. Like, they weren't supposed to know that they were working together. They just was supposed to trigger each other, and then go their separate ways. And what the conflict did was put down the ego. The conflict between them had to happen, right? Because that ego needs to get out the way. So once the ego is removed, now you can see things differently. This is the turning point. Now they could come back in balanced and give, because they had to realize what they lost before it even really began. Because this is not something that began. This is something that was like a false start. It ended before it could actually really become a connection that was working together. It ended very quickly because somebody made an impulsive decision. Somebody stopped communicating, right? So the ghosting scenario, somebody ghosted. Somebody just stopped communicating. And then they had to wake up. They had to see the truth. They had to see things differently. Then they had to balance out themselves because of the guilt of of the person who did the wrong. And then they had to have the bravery to come back in as a new creation, a new person. And then they could give and have a whole new cycle in this connection. But see, they had to be left out in the cold. They had to. Both of them felt left out in the cold. Both of them felt like like maybe cursed, right? Both of them felt like it's so hard to do this on my own. Like, because come on, let's be real. Living these days is very challenging. Everything costs so much money. And it is difficult when you're one person doing it all on your own. But they both had to do that. So the masculine had to be strong and stay away and keep building on his own, because he wasn't just building in the physical, he was also building in his spiritual self, right? And the feminine was doing the same work. So both of them had to be independent. Both of them had to go for their own purpose, their own abundance, and carry their own weight. They were supposed to come into this connection with no baggage, light, free, childlike, right? So by the time they come back into union, nobody is codependent on each other. The feminine is not going to go put her weight on the masculine, and the masculine is not going to go put his weight on the feminine. Ooh, Spirit, you good. Spirit just said that it was, okay, when they both met each other, they were both in a codependent space. That's why they couldn't love each other, because remember how I explained twin flame connections? The twin flame connections is that when we're in that lower frequency, we're all codependent. When I was married, I was codependent. I didn't know it, but I was codependent, right? I was scared to move out my comfort zone, do things on my own. I used to hate going to the grocery store by myself. Like, I hated it. I don't know why, but I did. I didn't like people. I always felt like people were judging me. So I maybe that's why I didn't want to be alone. But when I left that relationship, I had to learn how to be independent. And my ex-husband, it was the same thing. Like, he cried, he begged me to stay because it hurted him so bad that his family was broken up. He didn't know what he was going to do with his life. His life fell apart, and so did mine, right? But I'm not saying we were right for each other, but he picked himself up. He's in another relationship now, and that relationship is more grounded because he had to rebuild himself from the bottom up. And he had more than I did because I invested in his money, his growth, right? But it's not even just about that. It's about everything he became. He became a better man, a better father, a better husband for the next person because of the codependency in our connection and how that crumbled. And he had to build himself up. So the reason why I'm giving you guys that story from my own life is because I'm making the contrast to how the connection would have been with these two counterparts if they had, thank you, Heidi, if they had gotten together at that time, because they both were not independent enough to be with each other. They had to learn how to be whole on their own. They had to do that inner working and that outer working. So both of them had to do that separately so that when they come together, their relationship will be solid, it will be strong, it will be beautiful, and it will be built on a new foundation for both of them. You get me? And their foundations had to align. So their purposes aligned because why? Because they already had a contract. They were always going to end up together. They just didn't know how it was going to end up together because they couldn't see it while it was happening. So the ghosting, it was actually the best thing for the connection. They weren't ready, and they would have hurted each other, and they would have caused each other a lot of pain. So it would have, if it would have, they might think it would have worked out because you go, come on, the first few months is honeymoon stage. Ain't nothing real yet. Like, that's why every time we get in a new relationship, we be excited. Oh my God, this is the one. Because the real work hasn't begun. It's just feelings and emotions. But as you go on your journey, you learn love is more than that. It's more than feelings and emotions. How do we fit together when it comes to our finances? Do we both budget properly? Are you an overspender? Like, are you an emotional spender? Because that's going to affect our household. Like, do you not care? Do you know how to save? Like, when they're looking for a real partner, those things matter. And if one person don't have that down pat, it's gonna mess up your empire, your foundation. You get me? All of that is important. If you can't sit and hash out a problem because you can't use your intellect, and not just be so emotional, and but look at the bigger picture, you're going to always be arguing because it's a tit for tat. It's a, you don't get me, you don't understand me, you don't see me, me, because you have no perception of the other person's shoes, right? Because you hadn't walked in it. Like, so now it's this one-sided. Every time they're raising their voice trying to get their point across, you raising your voice trying to get your point across, and everybody's point is valid, but nobody knows how to handle it, right? Nobody got emotional regulation, But now you got the emotional regulation. You've learned how to love yourself more, so you're gonna love somebody the way you love you. So if you're patient with yourself when you don't understand something, and you're forgiving with yourself, you're going to be a little bit more patient with that other person because you're more understanding, right? And then when it comes to the passion, that's important too. You need compatibility in that department. Like, how does our bodies mesh together? Do you take the time to understand what my body likes and how I like to be rubbed or felt on, or you get me? Or is it all about pleasuring you? Are you selfish? Like, you got to learn those things about you, and they got to learn that about them, and they got to mesh. So that separation was so they could both become emperor, empress on their own. Now the connection is ready for love, right? In the future. So, because I do feel like this is future. I don't feel like this is happening right now. For some of you guys, it might. But what I feel like is the current energy is the energy of the spark, the inspiration, getting the joy back, the excitement, the hope, right? And pursuing, continuing, growing and pursuing, but with excitement and joy and optimism. That's the energy coming in. And then being able to rest a little bit while still doing these things. And then in the future, the reward is that celebration because they're both healing. This was always meant to be had later. So it was saved for later. This person comes in as the King of Pentacles. But guess what? He's never stopped watching his feminine, the Queen of Cups. He spies. He also learns from her. But his divine masculine energy, it tapped in when he felt Spirit tell him, you gotta take care of her. But taking care of her does not just mean building the home and money. It means all those other aspects. You have to know how to do that for somebody else, but you got to do it for you first. So being a provider also means you provide emotional support, warmth. You listen to her when she talks. You don't check her out just because she's a feminine. You value her input. You also submit to her at times, her guidance, You get me? Learn her, love her, take care of her. If we want to take it to the church concept, love your wife the way Christ loved the church, right? So we all say the same thing in different ways, but I don't think we ever really explain that love is actually a lot of work to have. You first got to give it to you, because how will you understand if you don't know how to do it? Like, think about that. We love people as we love ourselves. So when we're over giving and we're pouring so much, we're not really loving ourselves. We're being a people pleaser. That's not loving yourself, but we confuse that for love because it's like, but I give this person everything. Why? Because I feel like they need it if they, but are they changing? Are they appreciative of it? Are they grateful for it? I don't know. I just feel like you're wasting your time. So you're hurting yourself over somebody who's not even appreciating what you're giving. Are you not important? Do your pain not matter? Why do you feel like you're supposed to sacrifice yourself? Oh, because you don't love yourself. But you say you love other people, but you can't love somebody when you don't love yourself. That's just you being a pushover and a people pleaser because you want to be liked. You want to be seen as a good person. Loving yourself sometimes means you got to hurt other people's feelings. Not because you're trying to be mean and rude, but because they need to understand that you're valuable. But nobody's going to value you if you don't even value yourself. You get me? So both masculine and feminine had to go and learn those things. Because then guess what? You're going to be yelling. You're going to have the yelling match war, pointing the finger. Because nobody's doing the inner work to say, you know what? I didn't even take the time to understand that person's position because I'm just feeling sorry for myself. Instead of taking charge and action for my own self, I'm putting it on somebody else to make me happy, to make me feel good. So when they mess up and they show me imperfections, now I'm mad at them. Now they're not my person. Now you're going to be running to connection because it's like, they don't love me. They don't understand me. They don't see me. But you also wasn't seeing them. You get me? Anyways, I'm over here giving y'all a Dr. Phil type of conversations. Okay, so let's wrap this up. So I guess I could get, let me see, I'll do some oracles. So what else do Blue Butterfly need to know about this connection, this journey? What else? One more. Thank you. All right, we got good energy. So we have a time to give rather than to take. Okay? And that giving can just be like giving understanding, giving reassurance, giving giving peace, like being more of a compromising energy than the woe me energy, right? Try to see things from somebody else's perspective. And I feel like that's for both feminine and masculine. Instead of being like, this didn't go the way that I wanted it to, so the answer is no. And I'm not talking about somebody that hurt you. That's not this energy here. I'm not talking about, well, not that they hurt you, but this connection was more of a misunderstanding of timing. You know, they had to separate because of the lessons that still needed to be learned. They couldn't do it together. This is not that energy where it's like someone was just manipulating you, getting what they want out of you, coming back in and out and hurting you over and over again. That's not this connection. This connection wasn't that. This connection had a lot of love in it, and this connection had a lot of inspiration in it. Both people were inspired by each other. right? Some of you guys are still in twin flame connection. So you think this is the twin flame energy, but this is not that energy. This is counterpart. The counterpart is coming up as you're shifting through that twin flame energy. And there's some of you guys in the collective who resonate with this because you've already let go of the twin flame. You're not on that journey anymore. You've already saw everything. You've gotten all the information, clarity. You've mastered it. So you're in the counterpart of your journey. You're in the, yeah, you're experiencing counterparts on your journey. So it's the counterpart energy, right? They're a divine being as well. They're everything that you are. So both had to understand and put themselves in each other's shoes, right? That's a time to give rather than take. And we have the energies gaining momentum. So what that means is we've been hearing, remember all my readings are connected. So if you guys been paying attention to the other readings, we've been having the communication is coming in. Communication is coming in. That timeline is here. And we were saying that last year, communication is coming in from December to February. That's the timeline. And for some of you guys, it's in 6 months. But those that are on this timeline where this energy is at the point where this person is ready to give because they've already done this inner work. You've already done this inner work. You've built. Now that communication is coming in. So this is the energy gaining momentum. It's not coming in yet. It's coming in like within the next 2 months. So it could be any time from now till then. But the energy is gaining momentum. So that means that the energy is getting more and more stronger. You just have to keep doing that work you've been doing on yourself. And it's pulling in the energy. They're going to reach out, right? Luck is on your side. The universe is going to give you the best possible outcome. So when something doesn't work out with somebody, the way I've been talking, when something doesn't work out with somebody, it's because that it didn't have your best interest in mind. You get me? Like, it wasn't your highest, it wasn't for your highest good. So they're telling you to bring love into the situation. This situation is safe. This connection is safe, right? But somebody's coming in. And there's another thing. For some of you guys, very few, this is someone you've never met before. Meaning, because remember, it's not going to be somebody from your past. It's going to be a whole new person. Hi, Taya. It's going to be a whole new person. But this person is going to be your person. So everybody's not going to have somebody from the past that's returning. Some people are going to have a completely new person. But again, they're embodying your counterpart energy because those other experiences, they were lessons preparing you for your true counterpart because they were counterparts too, but they were not on your timeline because they hadn't completed their work. That's why you had to leave them, right? So you're not going to be waiting anymore. You're going to be there. Good night, Chi. But they had their stress and things didn't come from this connection. It came from a different counterpart that they were dealing with. You get what I'm saying? So just like you've been switching through the counterpart energy, so have they on their journey. So you guys didn't go through any of this together as these two, but you will know they're the counterpart, right? It's going to be a give and take connection. We got I'll read these last 3 and then we'll end it. Last 4. Last 5. But we have emotions are running high. So the energy in this connection is going to be so good. We have a win-win forecast. Win-win outcome is forecast. Hold your vision. The end of a tough cycle approaches. And show the world the real you. Keep showing up authentically, right? Keep pursuing your dreams, your goals. Everything is going to align for you. Everything, you're going to be successful, but you just got to keep going. Like, you didn't lose anything. Like, you get me? It could feel like it, but you actually are gaining. You've been swapping out an old life for a new one, and that's been taking time, but you didn't lose anything. So it's coming in, Blue Butterfly. But I love you guys. Thank you guys for being supportive as always. Those of you guys that are new, my name is Queen She. Like I said, I'm posting those videos, so they'll pop up either in a couple hours. And then we're still getting back on our momentum because y'all know I had the kids for the holidays. It threw me off. That's 4 little demonic energies for me to deal with. I'm just playing. They're not demonic, but those of you guys that have kids, young kids, y'all know how kids are annoying. They're stressful. They like to fight. So my body is still trying to get rest from that time period. That was my challenge and adversary. Right? So the consistency is building up back with the readings, but they're slow, but they're still coming out. So yeah, I love you guys, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you, Heidi. They're good kids. I have all girls, daughters, but they are a hot mess as well. They are crazy. I'll post a picture of them on the chat page because I don't think you guys even see my kids. Hey, Destiny. Y'all all coming in now or y'all been here? But either way, if you guys just came in, you guys could replay the video. It was a really good reading. And the energies that's been coming out overall, it's on fire. It's tea. Like, y'all could feel it, can't y'all? It's definitely been a shift. And it's union coming in, right? But don't worry if you're not on this timeline yet, you guys. You're going to get there. It's just that it's the work still being done. So when these unions come in, like this communication is coming in, when they finally get to this place where they communicate and their journey goes, then that group is done. You get me? They're on that new mission with their counterpart. When the energies still keep coming out, like, oh, there's communication coming in, that's because that collective is still getting there. You get me? So you're going to hear it, and then it's going to sound like it's done, and then it's going to come back again, but it's because the collective is shifting through and getting on their timeline. So it's all about your own timeline. So don't feel like just because it didn't come in from now till February that it's not yours. Because then the next timeline is, the other timeline is 6 months. So you might be in that group, right? And then after that 6 months, there's going to be another timeline within the next year. You might be in that group. You get what I'm saying? Just keep focusing on doing the work. I promise you it's going to come together. But anyways, I love you guys. And thank you guys again for joining. And you're welcome, Mo. I didn't even know y'all was all here. Y'all was over there hiding. Make sure you guys like the video. If you guys resonated with you, it definitely helps the algorithm and get pushed out more to other people that are meant to hear these readings for this specific collective. And I will see you guys next time.